Boys, we're taking a look at the bow Wishender. This is a combat kinetic bow brought to us now here in Forsaken through a quest. Feel free to take a look at the description below to see how to obtain this exotic. Now let's talk about it. What's going on here with this combat bow? First up, intrinsically, Queen's Wrath. While aiming down sights with a fully drawn bow, enemies behind walls are highlighted. Now the bowstring perk there is high tension string, increases accuracy, slightly slower draw time, and slightly decreases stability. As you can see, that draw time down there is 900, making it the longest draw time bow here in the game. Now the arrow perk here, anti-taken fletching, specializes to fight taken targets. It increases accuracy. And the final trait on this weapon, broadhead, piercing arrowhead that damage the targets on entry and exit. One shot can over-penetrate multiple targets. Now that we've gotten through those perks, let's talk about this bow. Is this a bow worth the time and trouble to obtain? Now I think every exotic is worth collecting, but from a PvP perspective, if you are just a PvP player, I'm having a hard time figuring out how this bow fits into PvP. Yes, you can see people behind walls, but outside of that, being the highest impact bow we have here in the game, I just expected it to hit harder here in PvP. Currently, right now, it hits 123 per crit. And yes, I am synergizing this with One Eye Mask. One Eye Mask marks targets, so it seems only natural to pair with this bow. Now the damage it added almost like an extra 4 damage. Nothing significant. But let's talk about that. Why is Wishender only hitting 123 per crit? That seems awfully low, considering the fact that it's such a high impact bow. When we look at our other bows, Subtle Calamity hits 151 per crit. Tyranny of Heaven hits 138. Arsenic also hits 138. The only bizarre one is Trinity Ghoul, but that's because it shoots 3 arrows at a time. So guys, I can't really explain this. Like, I don't know. I think I'm missing something. For weeks now, I've been contemplating on all the little things that I can do to tweak damage to Wishender, to get it in Crucible, and one-hit KO people. Why is it hitting what it's hitting? Now, if you wanted to take the other route, which is the sneakier support role route, essentially allowing yourself to call out for teammates, sure, I guess you could do that with this bow. But constantly aiming down sights really puts you in tunnel vision. So you actually make yourself a very easy target. Now I know there's gonna be some people that say, hey, you can pair this with a sniper. And I tried that. I did the whole, I saw them behind the wall, I'm rocking a quick draw sniper, I immediately jumped to my sniper to get the snipe off. Yeah, I'm not saying that's not a good option, but for the most part, if you can read your radar, somewhat decently well, and understand the map layout, which most players do, you don't need this bow to see people behind walls. You know when they're about to peek. So for me, I think the standoutest thing, if there's nothing bugged here, and this is the damage that it's supposed to hit, I think it's supposed to play a support feature, and I can only think of one scenario where it could truly thrive. You're 0-0 with another team in survival, in competitive. The capture point just came up and you're defending it. You're aiming down sights to see how the team is split. And Wishender just gave you and granted you the ability to see that they are doing a 3-1 split, which immediately allows you to collapse on the one. Guys, this is the only scenario that I can think of. The only other thing I can think of is that this bow is just not meant for PvP. Talk about killing an erection, boys. I've had a hard one on for this one for weeks, actually months, since the first time I saw the trailer. Because Bungie showed a collat in Crucible on Eternity. Them sneaky bastards, man. Now, they could have just went in there and toned it down. Because at the end of the day, if we had a bow that could see behind walls and one-hit kill, I guess it would be broken. Now for PvE, it does extra damage against the Taken. It didn't seem that significant. Nothing here was jumping out to me to be overwhelming in terms of DPS. Then again, I normally don't use bows to DPS anything. But comparing the numbers to no turning back, not that big of a difference. Now I will say that Wishender does put down shielded opponents fast in PvE. I'm talking about anything that's got a shield around it, it seemed to just eat them up. That might just be bows in general. Again, I don't use bows much in PvE, but I'm assuming broadhead has a lot to do with that. Now finally, the thing that actually makes this bow good is the ability it grants you in the Dreaming City. Around the Dreaming City, there are Taken X. They are immune to anything that you try to shoot at it with, except for Wishender. And actually shooting it with Wishender will grant you Dreaming City weapons. And I don't really know what else is in the loot pool. Again, I'm pulling this information from Rick Cactus, who has a guide on how to get this bow, which is in the description below. So yes, I think Wish Ender is more or less a PvE bow, and it's a bow that grants you some extra bit of loot, especially for those that are trying to hunt down some of those Dreaming City weapons that have some of those god rolls. So yeah, fellas, I mean, it's kind of a letdown. I'm gonna be honest with you, it is a letdown. I was hoping that this bow was gonna be an absolute monster in PvP, given the fact that everything about it in terms of being able to see behind walls already was laying the groundwork in my mind to be this PvP bow. So guys, check out that guide on how to obtain this bow. I think I'm gonna get it just so that I can go around, shoot some eggs, get some god roll weapons. That's pretty much the extent of me using this thing. As far as PvP goes, I can't see myself using this over many other weapons we have that are dominant in the Crucible. Well guys, thank you all for coming and watching, and as always,
Slap that like button like your mama told you right.